I just finished this beautiful laser engraved cutting board which I filled with resin. This was my first attempt ever and it was way easier than you think. So in case you want to learn, keep watching. This is the board that I am going to resin fill. So this one is a acacia wood board, but you can use any type of material. This one has a already sealed and shiny surface, so I actually don't need to do much with this. But if you have more raw wood, I do suggest that you maybe treat it with a clear coat or a coat of shellac or clear acrylic or something like that. That is laser rated and non-flammable, so it will not set your laser on fire. But I will be masking this board because once I start filling it with resin, I might have some overflow from the engraving, and it can be a pain to get rid of afterwards. So masking the piece that you are going to resin fill is definitely a good idea. I don't have any fancy masking tape, but I do have painter's tape. So what I will do is just to place strips of painter's tape on my board. I want this board to be engraved with cheese, and I'm not sure what color I'll do it in yet. One thing that is important if you use painter's tape like me is that you place them as close as you can together, but don't overlap them. It doesn't matter that much since I will be filling it with resin, but if you have a big gap or they are overlapping, you can see it in the engraving once it's engraved. Because this, imagine it had a larger gap, you would burn harder into the gap that didn't have any tape. Also, if it was overlapping, your laser would not burn as deep on the overlap as it would on the rest of the tape. When you are going to engrave this, you do want to engrave with as much depth as you possibly can. You can either increase your power or you can lower your speed to achieve this. I do recommend that you do a test on a similar board. So this is also acacia. I sacrificed this little board just for the purpose of finding my golden settings. So you might see if I use these settings, it would be too light and it would not have enough space for me to color fill. Where this one that I engraved deep has more space between. But I actually want more space than this. So what you want to do is just to test different settings. I actually already color filled this with UV resin anyway, but you want let me just see if I can show you with my nail here, because I have pretty long nails. You want a depth that is at least about 1 or 2 millimeters. So these deep engravings I actually made by lowering my speed to 100 and increasing my power to 20. I usually engrave with 350 speed and 15 power on my plywood. So you can see how all wood will react differently. I did the same on bamboo. So for this one, I just made the engraved grid test, but you do see how much depth these engravings have compared to these ones. So what you want to aim for is actually these. So lower your speed, increase your power, and then you will have more depth. But it is a really good idea to test out different materials because they don't engrave the same. So for this one, since this is also acacia, I think I will go with the 120 setting. If I feel like I didn't engrave deep enough, I can just run it twice. But that will take double the amount of time since I will have to make it twice instead of just making it once. Let's get to engraving this board. I am engraving this on my 80-watt CO2 laser from Beaver. This entire engrave did take 27 minutes. So I'm happy that I found the depth so I didn't have to do it twice. Once your laser is done engraving, make sure that you don't remove your board just yet until you have checked that the depth of your engraving is deep enough. If it doesn't feel deep, you should engrave it again and it will have more depth. But once your depth is okay, remove your board from the laser. Depending what type of board you engraved, you might want to seal this after you finished engraving. If you are engraving on a board that does not have this already shiny surface, or you are engraving on a lighter board like bamboo and such, I recommend that you use a clear coat of some sort just to seal the edges inside the engraving. That will prevent the color from the resin to bleed out into the grains. My board here is acacia and I'm pretty sure that it will not bleed. We will see because this is actually my own first try. So for resin you will need A and B. I am using Art and Glow resin. This is not supposed to be this yellow, but it was exposed to too much sun. So if you have resin, please keep it away from the sun, otherwise it might turn yellow. It doesn't matter because I am going to color this in. To color in, you will need silicone cups or disposable cups or just some cups to mix it in and mix the colors with. And you need some sticks, of course, of some sort to mix it. Always when working with resin, make sure that you use gloves and a respiratory mask. The respiratory mask is really, really, really important, you guys. To apply, I will be using these drippers. Everything I'm using, I will drop a link below. And I might have to go in and use some needles to just get everything out to the corners. To color, I will be using 3 colors of resin dye mica powder. Again, links below. And I am thinking that I want to make say green. I will make the cheese yellow and I will make cheese text gold. So let's see how that will turn out. Also the gold, I will be adding some glitter, fine glitter, and that's pretty much about it. Once you're done, you will need a torch or a heat gun. I'm using a heat gun to blow all those bubbles or burst all those bubbles, so you will not have bubbles in your projects. But I'll just take on some gloves and my mask and we can get to it. Before I put on my mask, because I can't hardly speak with it, I will just tell you that I like mixing the clear epoxy in the disposable cups. I use these lines to adjust the amount. You want to blend them half and half, so half A, half B, and then you take your B, pour it in A, and you mix it. You have to mix at a slow pace for 5 to 6 minutes or so. It will have writings on the back of most bottles. This one is 3 to 5 minutes of slowly stir. So I'll mix, and once I have my epoxy in the cups, I'll spread it out to my silicone cups and blend in the colors. I am mixing half and half by looking at the lines on my cups. I'm mixing it until you see that it's clear, and then you can go in and add your mica powder or resin dye. I do regret that I didn't add more color to it, because in the end you might see that my color didn't came out as strong as I wanted it to be. It's because it was simply too clear, and the dark engrave under the color is shining through. So make sure you add more colors. I am applying with my drippers and just kind of making drops everywhere in my engraving. This is the gold color, which I blended with glitter as well. And although it was easy to apply, it didn't really go into or float into the engraving as easy as it would if I didn't have glitter. So I am using a toothpick to kind of push it to the corners. And in the end, I actually found a golden tool that you could use. I found a silicone scraper, which you normally would use for baking, and I just kind of wiped over the filling to kind of spread it. I wiped it off, and then I could continue with the rest of my colors. So although I didn't mention this little simple tool in my material supplies, I definitely recommend that you do it this way. It was so much easier, and I was able to spread it to a point where I felt it was level to the board. When the resin is curing, it will lose some of its depth, and it will create a kind of groove to the engraving. If you want, you could go in and add a clear coat or more color to it the day after, but I actually don't mind when it comes to a charcuterie board like this. Once you're satisfied with your filling, you burst all the bubbles by either using a torch or a heat gun like I'm using here. You can see them bursting, and once you can see that everything is clear, you can go over and fill a little more if you have some gaps, and also a toothpick is great for removing bubbles. Okay, I am actually done with my board, I think. I don't know how colorful these colors will be. Also, you might notice that I had to take another little approach in use. So I actually grabbed this one from my kitchen, because you can just kind of wipe over the resin and make it even. I did have a little trouble with the drippers or pipettes, because it didn't flow as well as I am used to. I don't know why. But this was actually a little easier. You just have to make sure that you blow out all the bubbles afterwards. So I will be watching over this as a hawk for the next 24 hours, because that's how long it takes for epoxy resin to harden or cure. I will go with a needle once in a while and see if there's any bubbles that needs poking. I'm not sure at this point if I want to remove my masking tape now. I could try this little corner. I actually think I could, but be advised that resin is self-leveling, so you want this to be level when you're doing it, so do it on a nice level table of some sort. And I actually think it's easier to remove tape before it hardens. Maybe I should leave just a little bit of tape to see how easy it will be to remove it once it is cured. So I could go ahead and take these outer pieces now and leave the insides for tomorrow. I think I am going to wait because I can see already that this is running to where it's not supposed to be. So I will peel off the tape tomorrow and hope for the best. I did have all intentions to show you how to peel off the tape, but I honestly found out that after this had cured for about 3 hours, my remaining resin on top was still soft enough for me to be able to peel off the tape, but also it hadn't hardened enough, so it was impossible for me to take off the tape. So I am a little chicken, so I actually went ahead and removed all the tape at once. For the smaller parts, I did use a little sharp tool to kind of lift the corners, and I used a tweezer to remove them. I was wearing gloves under the entire process, and I don't know if I would have been able to wait by peeling off the tape until it was completely dry. This is my first board ever, engraved and resin filled. So it did come out really, really great. I am not totally satisfied with the colors in it, but all in all, I think it did turn out okay. If you have any tips or have experience with this, because I don't, as said, this was my first, please drop a comment below, because I will be making a new tutorial, I think, if you want, because I have a lot of other boards that I would like to do this technique with. I did order some masking tape, larger roll of masking tape that I can use for my next board. After I peeled off the tape, because I used the painter's tape, I did have some small fine lines of resin that were overlapping. So the easiest way to fix that is to sand the surface. My resin is not laying flat against the grain, so I didn't sand any of the resin. I only sanded the resin that was on the wood. So this is my take on resin filling a charcuterie board. This SVG I made in Canva, and you can find it on our website allstarsdesign.com for free. I will make some new SVGs for my next cutting boards. So if you want to see more, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you soon.